Well, a very good morning and welcome indeed to the Giyani Stadium where the proceedings are about to get underway. We're expecting the ceremonial program to start any minute from now as soon as the president walks in, takes the salute from the army, whereafter the formal program begins. Well, the formal program itself is going to take about 1.5 hours. We are told, but of course I'm not alone, and to tell us more about what to expect here at Giyani Stadium, I am of course with my colleagues, starting with Aldrin Sampier.
Well, yes, good morning. We're coming live to you from the Giyani Stadium here in Limpopo, and tell you what, just looking at the sheer number of people that have made their way here, there's quite a level of excitement. And earlier on we did indicate that it started to drizzle, it started to rain, and now the skies have all of a sudden opened up. And we, as you indicated, that as soon as the president walks in, of course, there's now underway is the ceremonial guard of honor, and as soon after the president makes his salute, there will also be the 21-gun salute, and then after that, the official event will be underway, will take place. And I'm also joined here by Mike Marenga. Mike, you from actually Giyani, can you just basically tell us more about the area?
Thank you, Alvin. Look, it's not, Giyani is not like this. Usually during this time of the year, we expect Giyani to be warm, even though we're heading towards winter. But like you said earlier on, there was a scrum here. People were pushing each other to get a shade. Organizers were sent into a panic mode because they didn't know what will happen if the rain will continue or subside. Yeah, having said that, from where we are standing, Alvin, you have seen we still have hundreds of people that are still flocking into the stadium. You can see from the drop-off where we are, they are coming in their numbers. But briefly about this place, Alvin, before I come to you, you'll remember that when President Zuma took to office in 2009, he identified Giyani for the rural development project at the village called Muyeshe. It's a distance of about 20 kilometers in the northeastern side of Giyani. President Zuma has been here several times, and here we come again. The Freedom Day celebration, for the very first time, Alvin, it will be celebrated outside Pretoria. Maybe that's the reason why the weather decided to change. We're in a Pretoria mode, the Pretoria weather. But I've seen you behind you. There are a lot of generals that are here, and you'll be talking to one in a very short space of time. But still on the Giyani matter, still on the Pretoria matter, the taking of this Freedom Day into other provinces, what impact will it have?
Well, it's certainly quite interesting looking at changing the venue of having this commemoration to another province. And quite interesting is just taking note of, I think, what government has probably set down and look at what works and what doesn't work. If you look, for instance, at the State of the Nation address, the State of the Nation address used to be during the day, but now it's in the evening. It has more viewership than before. So I guess this is where government has sat down and said that, listen, holding this event only in Pretoria is not working. And as you've indicated, that we are rather in the most safest place. I was saying to a colleague earlier on that the tedious security detail around this place, as well as walking through the security checks as well, it's quite tedious. And we will be joined by General Mabanga from the South African National Defence Force, just to talk us through the event that will be taking place, as well as that ceremony, the initial ceremony before the formal event, with regards to what the soldiers or the SANDF members will be doing before the formal event takes underway. Right now, let's go back to Vuyo Mvoko.
Well, thanks very much, Aldrin. Well, just to fill in, today's theme, this year's theme, I should say, is together building better communities. Local government is everybody's business. Well, not surprised given that this is the year in which we are scheduled on the 3rd of August to hold those all-important local government elections. And just going through, as we're preparing for this day, just going through some of the data that has been coming from government, taking stock of what has been happening, what has happened since 1994, what the government has done, and of course what it still hopes to do given the programs that are underway. Well, President Jacob Zuma will be the one, of course, taking stock of that, filling the nation in, so to speak, just to give us a sense of where we are as a nation, what has been happening over the past 22 years, and perhaps give an indication as the people who are running the country country, what is it that is topmost in their minds? What are the things that we're supposed to be doing? What are the things that we are supposed to care about as a nation, given everything that is happening, given the things that are yet to happen? All of that and more, we hope to hear from President Jacob Zuma when he takes to the podium a little later on to give that keynote address. We'll do so. Stay tuned as we will be updating you and we'll be bringing you live that speech by President Jacob Zuma, but everything else that will be happening before then. As I said, the program is going to be a little bit shorter than usual, which I'm sure will be welcome to many people, given that people want to see also the music. They want to see the cultural activities that are taking place. To take you through the program very briefly, the formal program, the formal part of the program, that is as soon as the ceremonial part finishes, the premier of this province will welcome the president and the rest of the guests, whereafter the Minister of Arts and Culture, Minister Natim Tetwa, will introduce the president. The president will then take to the podium and give that all-important speech about what it is that he and his government think are the most important things that South Africans should be thinking about, the important things that South Africans should be seeing, and the important things that South Africans should be preparing for as we move forward. What assurances is the government prepared to give to the people of South Africa about whatever concerns that the people may have, but also what is it that we should be celebrating, lest we forget that over the past 22 years a lot of work has indeed been done, but with regard to the things that have not yet been done, when will they be done, how will they be done, and what will be the roles that each and every one of us will have to play. Well, let's go back to Aldrin Sampier.
Well, yes, people are still making their way here to the Giyani Stadium. What I can tell you right now is there is a scrum right in front of the grandstands where we are standing at the moment, as people continue to make their way to Giyani Stadium. I've checked on the net, for instance. They say that this stadium is a 20,000-seater stadium. There is an overflow area that has been set up. There's a marquee that has been set up, but it seems though people want to be here in front of the podium, as probably as close as possible to the president, to get a glimpse of the president as he makes his way to the pitch, and when the event will certainly start off. As you just heard there, cheers, and the president has obviously arrived here at the stadium, but the official event hasn't started as yet. Right now I'm joined by a Minister of Health, Aaron Mutwale. It has also indicated that there is a level of concern, Minister, with regards to the numbers of people who are still making their way into the stadium.
Yes, I am very concerned and scared. This is a very small stadium. The crowds here are completely overwhelming. And I'm just worried about the possibility of a stampede here. And we might have to be very active to do something to avoid it. It's packed and people are still coming in.
Have you been able to speak to the organizers at this point?
No. Well, I've spoken to the Minister of Police. He's running around to try and do something. I'm sure they didn't expect such huge crowds in a stadium like this.
Well, I was actually saying that earlier on, while also making our way here to the stadium, that we saw various buses at different filling stations still making their way. And if you look far on our far right, there are people who are still making their way to the stadium. And there are those who are probably refusing to use the overflow area.
Yes, absolutely. That's why I'm worried. I'm just saying the crowd is extremely overwhelming, and if we don't do something very quick, we might end up with something we didn't expect. It's worrisome, extremely worrisome.
Well, Minister, let's just quickly go back to the purpose that we are here to celebrate today, to celebrate Freedom Day, the 27th of April. I want you to take us back to that moment, that first moment when you made your first ballot in a non-racial South Africa.
April 27, 1994, I woke up at 4 o'clock. I woke up at 4 o'clock to move around the village, to mobilize people, to make sure that the elections are going to happen. I actually couldn't sleep because I was very anxious whether that election is really going to happen, whether things will go right, what the end of the day will bring, because it was like South Africa is changing overnight into something new that we've never seen. So anxiety had to come in, and that's why I woke up at 4.
Well, thank you very much, Minister. Well, that is the Minister of Health, Aaron Motsoaledi, speaking to us then. As indicated, there is a concern around the stampede, but the presidential motorcade has arrived here at Giyani Stadium.
Well, welcome once again, especially to the viewers of SABC2. We're coming to you live from the Giyani Stadium in the province of Limpopo, and that is where the official celebrations of Freedom Day are about to get underway. President Jacob Zuma has just come through, which means that the ceremonial part of this program is about to get underway, and that is when there will be a gun salute, and the president will be taking that salute. Shortly thereafter, the formal program will begin, and that is when President Jacob Zuma will be giving a keynote address to talk to the nation about what for the government will be the main, should be the main issues and main concerns at 22 years down the line. What are the things that we should be preoccupied with, and if we have any fears, why do we have such fears, and how do we deal with them? And if there are programs coming up to address those concerns and whatever other issues that people may have, what are those programs and how will those programs unfold? That and more is what we expect when the president will give that all-important keynote address in a little while. But of course, it was raining a little earlier, people fearing that maybe things won't go as well as the people who are here, the organizers and everyone may have wished, but all of that seems to be gone now. There's a bit of a sun, and it's nice and warm here at the Giyani Stadium. Well, I'm going to hand over once again to my colleague Aldrin Sampier.
Well, we are just indicating there what issue that you touched on, the issue around trust, and looking back at the reconciliation barometer of 2015, indicating that there's about 67% of the population who don't trust people from other races. And I guess that that barometer comes at a time as well when the country is trying to deal with the issues of social cohesion, as well as ensuring that the country lives in peace and harmony. If you look at all the racial tensions that have started to simmer on social media, well, people are still making their way to the Giyani Stadium here in Limpopo. And as we spoke earlier on to the Minister of Health, Aaron Motsoaledi, his biggest concern is there might be a stampede. He said something might happen, something that they did not anticipate as people are making their way here. There's still a scrum right at the grandstands where we are standing at the moment. And if you look at the other side, there is an overflow area that has been set up, but people are not going to that overflow area. And right now they are rejoicing as the president makes his way to the podium where he will be receiving the gun salute. Right now I'm joined by my colleague Mike Marenga, and Mike, you are joined actually by the general from the SANDF.
It's indeed true, Alvin, but look, the security matter that you were talking about, it's worrying. When you were speaking now, the Minister of Police just came here to check at the crowd. to see what is happening, because right on our right hand side there is a scrum, and we don't know what will happen, because when the president arrived there was rapture. People have started singing as a way of welcoming him. But to understand what will happen as soon as everything starts, let us bring the general to talk to us. General Mabanga, what is going to happen now that the president has arrived? Can you please take us through?
Now what is going to happen, since the President of the Republic of South Africa and the Commander-in-Chief of the South African National Defence Force has arrived, he's going to be led to the podium by the aide-de-camp. Those are officials from the South African National Defence Force. Then when he gets into the podium, then he will be received by the National Ceremonial Guards, who have done what we call a guard of honor. Then on arrival at the podium, he will take salute from the National Ceremonial Guards, which will then be followed immediately by the playing of the national anthem. Concurrently with that, it will also be the sounding of the 21 gun salute in honor of the president, as well as the fly past. Then that will constitute the national ceremonial activities of the South African National Defence Force when it comes to events like this.
Look, between 8 and 10 o'clock, there was entertainment, but immediately after that, when the motorcade arrived, Defence Force took over. For how long will you be in charge of this process?
Well, we'll be in charge of this process until the end of the formal opening of the event, and thereafter other activities or entities will take over.
Just briefly tell us, I see during the parade we've got people in different uniforms. Just take us through as to what are those people, in which ranks are they, or units, if I may put it that way.
Well, when we look at them, the South African National Defence Force is comprised of 4 services. That is the South African Army, the South African Navy, the South African Army, South African Air Force, the South African Navy, and the South African Military Health Service. And beyond that, we have what we call the National Ceremonial Guards, whose responsibility is to perform national ceremonial duties like this. So on parade in green, we have the members of the National Ceremonial Guard. At the back, it is also the National Ceremonial Band.
Yeah, we have seen them coming in numbers, and some of them are here. What is going to happen? Are you going down to meet the president, or the people who are down on the ground are enough?
The people who are down, they are enough. They've got delegated powers to receive the president in as far as the ceremonial event is concerned. Above here, you have the Chief of the South African National Defence Force, Chief of Staff of the South African National Defence Force, Chief of the Chief of Joint Operations Division, Chief of the Army, Chief of the Air Force, Chief of the Navy.
Thank you. That was General Mabanga giving us a brief of the people who are here and as to what is going to happen as soon as the president makes his way into the pitch. He has indicated that we've got people from the Navy, we've got people from the Army who are here, who will be assisting in the process. Let's go to the podium to see what is happening now, because the president is ready and waiting.
post. The National Ceremonial Guard Band will now entertain us.
Well, if you've just joined us, you're watching a live broadcast. We're coming to you from Giyani Stadium in the province of Limpopo, and that is where the official celebrations of Freedom Day have just gotten underway. Right now, it's the ceremonial program.
Okay, well, we continue with our coverage of the National Day of Celebration. It's the 27th of April. We're celebrating Freedom Day, and we are at the Giyani Stadium in Limpopo, as was indicated earlier on. And the Ceremonial Guard of Honor is still underway, and right now I'm joined again by General Mabanga from the South African National Defence Force, just to speak us through to what's currently underway. General, thank you again for joining us. Let's start off with what's currently happening. We see the band on the pitch at the moment. We also have the President sitting on the podium as he observes.
Yes, what is currently happening within the South African National Defence Force, we have the bands, that is like this one that we have now on the stage, that is the National Ceremonial Guard Band. It's going to just play for entertainment, just to entertain the crowd and entertain and perform for the President. The President is watching, sitting down, and then conclusion of the entertainment part, then we will again play the salute, that is the general salute for the President. Then that will mark the end of the ceremonial part of the South African National Defence Force in this event.
What's the significance of when we have these national days of commemoration, where you have the President come in and you have the South African National Defence Force also playing a role?
Well, the South African National Defence Force is an element of state and an instrument of government. It has got that ceremonial part, which is the event or the participation of the Defence Force dates way back to time immemorial, whereby the kings or the heads of particular community will have their amabuto, or they will have their amabuto or the military elements coming just to bring that authority or bring that sense of security amongst the community and amongst the head of that community or the head of government. So it's a participation or an event that dates way back, which we know that when community were established, they were established and then there will be a security element of that community. So when there's an event for that community, those security elements will be present. Then in this instant, as a government, this is a national ceremonial event which the South African National Defence Force has got that ceremonial part to play, which signifies the same events, because it is presided by the President, who is also the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. So the Armed Forces have to be there to play their ceremonial part.
I was actually about to say that indeed he is the Commander-in-Chief of the South African National Defence Force. Just a quick one, you know, normally when we speak about the military, normally when we speak about the Defence Force, the first thing that comes to mind is arms, it's armaments and so forth, but here we see a different side to the Army and to the South African Defence Force.
Definitely, that's what we are bringing in now. It's the first time that we are doing it, but it is part of the ceremonial activities. Is that the Defence Force is not comprised of people who are carrying guns or weapons or only responsible for patrolling or doing border guards. There are a lot of events, careers, professions within the Defence Force. Hence, I'm also saying that we have bands that are responsible to provide these recreational programs or entertainment programs. There are various bands that we have in the Defence Force, as well as various activities that we do have, in as much as different careers and professions.
Well, looking at the sheer number of people who have their phones out at the moment and capturing this moment, it's quite interesting seeing how they're enjoying this, as well as the officials who are standing right behind you. There was actually somebody dancing, and I was about to ask you whether you can dance.
I can dance, but I'm not allowed to dance in uniform. Though those that are given that responsibility, like the bands, they are allowed to entertain us and other people with dance and music and any other thing.
Okay, let's just quickly speak again about the ceremonial guard that's currently underway. They are bringing us a tune, and we're coming live to you from the Giyani Stadium in Limpopo, where the official Freedom Day celebrations are currently underway. And as I've indicated earlier on, that I'm joined by General Mabanga, who is from the South African National Defence Force. General, just quickly again, just a basic touch on the ceremonial guard of honor and having the president sitting there.
Yes, once again, you know that the president will be seated in the podium, which is the seat of authority. And then the Defence Force will come and give the guard of honor, which is done at this stage with those ladies and gentlemen, or men and women in uniform, in green uniform. They are from the National Ceremonial Guard. And then the band that is responsible for entertainment as well as the marching music is the National Ceremonial Band as well. So whilst they've concluded showing what they can to the Commander-in-Chief as well as the nation at large, then they will withdraw.
Well, let's go straight to the pitch, where the ceremonial guard of honor is still entertaining the crowds here at the Giyani Stadium, as well as President Jacob Zuma, who's observing.
This concludes the band display. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the final compliments.
Well, we've just seen the end of the ceremonial program. The President Jacob Zuma, making his way to the main podium now, from where he will deliver his keynote address a little later on. The program being very short and sweet.
Thank you.
It's going to start with the opening and welcoming remarks by the Premier of the province, Premier Matabata. The Minister of Arts and Culture is going to introduce the President, whereafter the President will give that all-important keynote address. Short and sweet and to the point. By 12:30 in terms of this formal program, all this part of the program should have come to an end. An entertainment program should start.
Happy Freedom Day, happy! Happy Freedom Day, happy! Togana! Nda! Abshin. Union building is in Giyani Stadium today. Let us welcome the President of the Republic of South Africa, President Zuma. Alala, President Zuma, alala. Alala, South Africa, alala. Alala, Limpopo, alala. Alala, Mopani, alala. Alala, Pulukwane, alala. Alala, Vembe, alala. Thank you very much. We are going to start with our formal program in welcoming all of you here and our main speaker, President Zuma, would like, because the band has led us singing the national anthem, we will ask every one of us here in the stadium to stand up as we ask all of you, with my program director, MEC, to stand up and observe a moment of silence. Could we please rise? In doing so, remembering those who sacrificed for our freedom, could we all observe this moment of silence? Thank you. Alala, South Africa, alala. Alala, Limpopo, alala. Alala, Gauteng, alala. Alala, Northwest, alala. Alala, Mpumalanga, alala. Alala, Western Cape, alala. Alala, Eastern Cape, alala. Alala, Northern Cape, alala. Alala, KwaZulu Natal, alala. Alala, Giyani, Giyani, alala. Alala, Giyani, Giyani Stadium, alala. Alala, all of you in Giyani, alala. Alala, our Freedom Day, alala. Long live President Zuma, long live. Long live Msholozi, long live. Long live Ncamalala, long live. Let me start by acknowledging our leaders here with us. We have the President of the Republic of South Africa, President Zuma. He's here with us. We will introduce him properly when the time comes. We have the Deputy President of the Republic of South Africa, Deputy President Ramaphosa is here with us. With us here, we have Nkosikhulu Mphephu with us, he's here with us. We have Kosi Mpafudi and all other traditional leaders. In our midst, we have the Premier of Limpopo, Premier Matabata. He's here. We'll see him shortly. We have our district mayor of Mopani. She's here herself. She's going to address us later on. And my co-program director, as I said, MEC Ndalane is with us here. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow South Africans, comrades and friends, this is a big day. This is a successful Freedom Day. Can we give ourselves a round of applause? I didn't hear that round of applause. Can you give yourself a round of applause, please? Say halala to you, halala. Say halala to yourselves, halala. Having introduced who's here with us, I must also introduce to you the sign language interpreters, Augustine Letlalo and Pearl Mbolekwa. And you must observe they are really interpreting correctly. I'm going to give my co-program director to take the program, and we'll hear from her.
Thanks very much, Minister. Abshen Banunkwenu, Minjane, Inko Muikensile, Mitaikomela, Fire Giyani, Aingemiendel, because already Baslamserile, Minge Imbeleli, because Inge double the national anthem Timbiri. We shall now call upon our Premier, Mr. Stan Matabata, to come and give us their welcome remarks. Premier, the stage is yours. And Banba Giyani, Giyani Choir, Mikomberi waku imbelela marakungari leya national anthem. Tanani na risimu rin'wanyani ku at least. Leri ringensaku Premier wa hina. Atlisani. Milekhleleni. ba boneng ba ka re ba ta mekolongwane.
Ya Cancer Program Director. Amandla. Matimba. Manda. Mata. Krachten. All power. Thank you. Kia leboga. Ya Cancer. Roleboha Gamanda. Program directors. The President of the Republic of South Africa, Your Excellency, Jacob Zuma, Deputy President of the Republic of South Africa, Honorable Cyril Ramaphosa, ministers present here, Bo Kosikhulu, Bo Thobela Mpepu, Ramabulana, Raloba, Kariloven Batubashu, da. Kariruven Batubashu. Tihosi Tamina Maroshiaka Alofa Kamoka members of parliament and the members of the provincial legislature present here, executive mayors and mayors present here, thank you, comrades. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Can we all settle down? Ari dulem fase kamukagare nari tielecheng. Batho babaleng kamugare ga stadium. Batho kamo kabaleleng kamugare ga stadium. Ari dulem fase. Gore le ba kwa morao ba tle ba kgoneng go bona. Arduleng fase magageshu ai tsamene hase. Let us all sit down so that those behind us can be able to see and gain visibility of what is happening in front here. Veterans and stalwarts of our struggle for freedom, the Chief of the Defense Force and the Armed Forces, the leadership of the South African Police Services, the leadership of various religious formations present here, Dingaka, Charena, Kamoka, Chedilofa, Honorable President, Mangaka, Arena, Arobechifa, Baleche, Barapella, Bahaya, Filole. gore dilo ka moka di tle di sepele gabotse Mamotlaleng. Ladies and gentlemen, as the people of Limpopo, we count a rare honor and privilege on our part to be afforded an opportunity to host the people of South Africa on such a very special day. Bagesho, esale meletlo ye ya go celebrate a Freedom Day e thoma since 1994. Ke mathomo ngwago re bona moletlo o ntshiwa out of Pretoria o tlishiwa mo province ye leng gore ke ya province e tletseng dinagamagae go swana le ya rena, province ye leng gore e tletse khutšo le lethabo go swana le ya rena. Re rata gore jwale ka batho ba Limpopo re go leboge President for bringing this event here. We are indeed humbled. We accept the gesture with open arms to be the home of the second, being the home of the second president of the ruling party, the African National Congress, Sefako Makgatho. We would want to welcome the leadership of this country and say to you, you are in the province of legend. You are in the province that produced the freedom fighters who distinguished themselves in the struggle for liberation. Amongst them, we count people like Fleck Bishielo. We count people like Lawrence Pukanuka, Mark Chope, Peter Nchabeleng, Alpheus Maliva, Nelson Diale, Collins Chabani, Norman Mashabani, Peter Mkaba, and many others. You are celebrating this day in this province that gave birth to Khoshigadi Madinore of the Bapedi Kingdom, and Charlotte Mateke, who amongst others are counted as a rare breed of the brave women who influenced and led the 1956 Women's March that changed the course of the liberation struggle in our country. We proudly welcome you to the home of great warrior kings who fought against oppression and colonialism. Warrior kings like Sekukune, Makado, and Giyani. Program Director, we must therefore, as we celebrate this freedom, never forget all these and many other heroes and heroines of the struggle for freedom in our country. The befitting tribute we can pay to them is not to dishonor the cause of freedom. We must take this responsibility and celebrate this freedom with honor and dignity. As the former president of the African National Congress once said, Comrade Oliver Tambo once said, and I quote, "We must break down the barriers of division and create a country where there will be neither whites nor blacks, but just South Africans free and united in diversity. Ladies and gentlemen, Program Director, I have got no doubt that as people are entering here, as people are coming into this stadium, as people are filling this stadium as you do, all of you are here to celebrate. All of you are here to honor those who died for this freedom. As the province of Limpopo, we want to say, we also want to be counted amongst those who are celebrating this freedom with honor. Because just like any other person who's enjoying the fruits of this freedom, we in Limpopo are also doing the same. Re a iteboga, re a leleboga ka moka bahlabanedi ba ileng gore ba ilwetse ntwa e ya tokologo. Tokologo ye, we want to say, we will always honor it and cherish it. We will always defend it with everything within our means and ensure that at the end of the day, this South Africa, our country, is a well-celebrated country in the world of nations. And ensure that this, our province, Limpopo, is counted amongst all those provinces who are the best that this democracy has ever produced. It is now my pleasure and honor to welcome all of you in our province, the province of Limpopo, and say to you, let us celebrate this freedom because we all deserve it. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Premier of Limpopo, Premier Matabate, for welcoming all of us. We indeed feel at home. "22 years of freedom and democracy. Freedom which people laid their lives for. Freedom which we should not take for granted at any time. 20 years of the Constitution of South Africa. This Constitution is in safe hands in the ruling party, the African National Congress. Anyone who says the Constitution is under threat is mistaken. It is this Constitution which prescribes that the government of the day should be elected in every after 5 years. President Zuma and his government have been elected in 2014, and they are expected to bow out and go and renew the mandate in 2019. It is going to be so. The president is not going to be removed by anybody from office. The Constitution of the Republic of South Africa dictates that he must do his duty for the next 5 years, and that's what is going to happen in South Africa. The people today who want to take shortcuts, who get defeated in the ballot box and want to take shortcuts of vote of no confidence are not going to succeed. Siyakuba. We will continue. All of them must thank the African National Congress and the Constitution that today they are able to march and express their views. It is their right. We respect their right, but we respect the Constitution. We are going to take this country forward. President Zuma is going to come to the podium here. The president who is in charge of the country, who is running the country until the end of the term. He's going to talk to us now. There are no some mafigizolos who are going to tell the electorate what to do. We know what to do. Those Mickey Mouse political parties must know that it's only one governing party in South Africa, it's African National Congress. There is no co-governance in South Africa. Let us reflect 22 years of our democracy by listening to the man in charge of this country, President Zuma, talking to us, giving us the marching orders. Your Excellency, President Zuma, people are listening. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, co-directors of the program. Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa, His Majesty King TP Mpepu Ramapulana, Tobele Bapudi, senior traditional leader who is with us here, ministers and deputy ministers of the Republic, Premier of Limpopo and his Provincial Executive Council, members of the national and provincial legislatures, members of the national and the provincial houses of traditional leaders, the traditional leaders who are with us here, and the religious leaders, Executive Mayor of Mopopane, District Municipality Executive Mayor of the Greater Giyani Local Municipality, heads of Chapter 9 institutions, members of the Diplomatic Corps, ladies and gentlemen, fellow South Africans, we greet you all on this important day in our history. Tobela, Abshen, Dimashoroni, Sanbonan. Thank you very much indeed.
Today marks exactly 22 years since our people of all national groups went out in their millions to vote for the very first time in the free and fair democratic elections. This day, in 1994, not only marked the end of the tyranny of apartheid, it also symbolized the triumph of good over evil. Today, we are celebrating the heroic struggles waged by gallant men and women who understood that freedom could not be given to them as a gift. They knew that it had to be relentlessly fought for and achieved. Today, we also pay tribute to our heroes and heroines who passed away during this month of April, such as former ANC President Oliver Tambo, our cadre and leader, Chris Hani, our cadre of MK, Solomon Mahlangu. Their lives and untold sacrifices remain and remind us that our freedom was not free and that it came at a price and great cost, including life itself. On this day, we also think of all the people of South Africa who suffered in various ways during the apartheid era and before. Many were brutally murdered, imprisoned, and tortured. Millions of our people suffered immense poverty and deprivation through the system of institutionalized racism, which rendered black people to be trespassers in the land of their birth and not worthy of any rights. Thousands were dehumanized in various ways. It was painful, cruel system which was correctly described as a crime against humanity by the United Nations. The victory of our people in 1994 through selfless struggle, assisted by freedom-loving people across the world, ended the centuries-long repression in our country. It set our nation on a path towards reconciliation, freedom, justice, peace, democracy, equality, and indeed, an entrenched, strong culture of fundamental human rights and liberties. In 1994, led by the President Mandela, we began building a united, democratic, non-racial, non-sexist, and prosperous South Africa. All policy instruments that have been introduced since 1994 are designed to achieve that vision of a better life for all, especially the poor and the working class. Work has continued since 1994 to improve the living conditions of the people, to undo the legacy of exclusion and neglect. Many communities and households were without electricity, water, roads, transport, clinics, providing quality health care or state-of-the-art schools. The democratic government has since 1994 spent each year delivering such services. Millions of our people now have access to these services. The community of Giyani, our host today, and thank you, Giyani, for hosting us this important day. Know too well the hardship of not having water, like many communities around the country where the democratic government is busy making a difference. In 2009, we declared the Giyani area a disaster zone and subsequently adopted it into the presidential Siyahlola program to redress the critical shortage of water. Government, through the Department of Water and Sanitation, issued an emergency directive in August 2014 to Lepelle Northern Water to regularize water and sanitation provision in the Bopane district. I'm very happy to report back today the completion of a number of projects. These are the completion of groundwater augmentation of 16 priority villages and that of Kesani Hospital. Also completed is the building of the Giyani wastewater treatment works and the refurbishment of the Giyani wastewater treatment plant. Some of the milestones in the project to date include the revitalization or revitalizing of 154 boreholes with package plants to ensure the water becomes fit for human consumption. Furthermore, there is construction of a 35 megaliters reservoir that will be completed in June 2017. Operations and maintenance support has also taken place to repair about 270 kilometers of existing lines, 9 pump stations, and 14 reservoirs. At the moment, all 55 villages here in Giyani have access to bulk water supply due to the interventions. To further promote water supply in Limpopo province, We have the Mogalekwena bulk water supply projects within the Waterberg district municipality that will be implemented in the current financial year. The project aims to deliver water to Mokopane town and villages to the immediate north of Mokopane town. 24,000 people and mines in the surrounding area will benefit from the project. Compatriots, as you are aware, the country is gripped by the negative effects of the current drought. As government, we continue to look for new sources of water. With some of our provinces having been declared disaster areas, we have to take extraordinary efforts to bring relief to our people. Water tankering, water restrictions, and finding new sources of water, especially by exploiting underground sources, are some of the efforts employed to reduce communities' water challenges. The current low dam levels, with an expected dry winter season, demand of everyone to be part of the national water conservation and demand efforts. We must continue to save water. We have no choice. The situation is serious and is affecting both households and our farming communities, who are supposed to ensure food security in our country. Compatriots, while services are extended to some communities, many others are still waiting because the backlog resulting from apartheid exclusion is extensive. We assure you that we shall not rest as the democratic government until all households in our country live in dignity and obtain basic services. We will continue to work with all communities towards this end, together building better communities and improving the functioning of municipalities so that they can better provide these services to the people. Remember that local government is everybody's business. So we have to work together to bring about a better life for all. Compatriots, as we celebrate our freedom, we also celebrate the improvement in the health care of our people. We are very happy that the life expectancy of South Africans has improved. People used to die at the average age of 53 years in this country. Now they live up to the age of 62 years of age. This means South Africans are now living longer and are much healthier. Those living with HIV and AIDS now receive free medical care and are living healthier lives. Improved treatment is also provided for all other common ailments that are troubling our people, such as diabetes, tuberculosis, or hypertension. We have identified education as an apex priority as well, in addition to healthcare. Education is a powerful instrument against poverty. It is for this reason that the democratic ANC government has established 3 new universities in Mpumalanga, Northern Cape, and a medical university in Gauteng. We are also building 12 new further education and training colleges and refurbishing others so that more of our youth can have access to education. We have appointed a commission of inquiry to look into the question of funding for higher education because it needs to be funded. This follows the cry for help by our students, as many want to study, but their parents are poor. We continue to invest in basic education. More than 9 million children attend no-fee schools. The circumstances of the parents should not handicap a child's future. 9 million children are also provided with free meals at school so that hunger does not impair them or impair their concentration in classes. For some, this is the only decent meal for the day, given the circumstances at home. Investing in education will help us to build better communities. Compatriots, for freedom to be complete, the economy of our country must not be skewed among racial lines. We must give practical meaning to the demand of the Freedom Charter that says, and I quote, "All shall share in the country's wealth," unquote. Government will continue to implement Black economic empowerment programs, as well as affirmative action programs. We have introduced new programs such as the promotion of Black participation in the manufacturing sector actively as industrialists. In partnership with the private sector, government will continue to work towards economic transformation so that we can expand our economy and create much needed jobs. Let me also take this opportunity to welcome the continuing cooperation between government and the private sector. Consultations with business are ongoing to find ways of igniting economic growth and create jobs to mitigate the punishing global economic climate. We also continue to engage labor. Together, we recently resolved a critical matter relating to worker pensions, which was of concern to the labor movement, especially COSATU. Compatriots, let me reiterate that our freedom was not free. It was fought for, and many lives were lost for its attainment. We therefore have the collective responsibility to defend it as South Africans with the same vigor as when we fought for it. We must unite and not allow anything to threaten the freedom and democracy we fought so hard for. This means we must stop actions that undermine our hard-won freedom, such as engaging in violence. For an example, when people are angry, there is no reason for them to burn factories, as it happened in KwaSithebe, in KwaZulu-Natal recently. You burn the factory, you reduce the chances of job creation. That is a logic conclusion of it. How do we call for job creation and then burn the very factories that are supposed to provide jobs, simply because we are angry? Schools, trains, libraries, clinics are all but to provide services and a better life. We must guard and protect these facilities in our communities. They belong to us. It is shocking that some people destroy these facilities so easily. We should report such destructive elements to the police and work together to build better communities where all guard jealously all facilities that are built to make our lives better. People should protest peacefully with dignity in the democratic South Africa. The Constitution allows us to do so, to protest peacefully. If you protest peacefully, you make your concern or complaint to be heard. But if you become violent, you actually undermine the rights of others. Now, the Constitution says your right must be respected, but also you should respect the rights of others. There is no monopoly of the rights. You can't monopolize it and undermine the rights of others. If we are protesting, somebody wants to continue with their normal activities, don't prevent them, because they must not also prevent or disturb your protest. Once it is violent, it is not acceptable. We should isolate all those who promote violence and anarchy. We know that some within our communities believe such violence will make them popular and try to use anarchy to build their political careers. Let us not allow this to happen in our name as the people. We worked hard to build this country as millions of South Africans. It must not be destroyed by anarchists who have no interest in our well-being. We want to preserve what is there to add on those things that have been delivered. If we ban things, we are in fact delaying delivery. That's a final logic. Compatriots, let me also use this opportunity to urge all of us to unite in promoting our country. While South Africa faces several challenges as a new democracy and a developing country, our country's positive attributes far outweigh the challenges. It should be possible for us to identify issues on which we shall unite no matter what, and not allow party political competition to divide our nation. In fact, people are abusing the political rights. They are generally made to advance ideas and visions that those politicians wish the people should benefit from. Political parties are not meant as instruments to divide people or to create hatred among people. Politicians who do so do not know politics and what needs to be done politically in the country. They must be exposed for what they are. For an example, we should unite on celebrating the achievements that South Africa has scored in 23 years, in 22 years rather, socially, economically, and politically. And we can unpack this in details at all the time, as we will be doing during the elections time, to prove the point I'm making, that politics are there to help people gain a better life, not to create hatred or disrespect. That's not politics, something else. It is a fact that the country is a much better place to live in now than it was before 1994. It's a fact that nobody can dispute. Our country is still receiving accolades for the successful transition to democracy under the leadership of the ANC, and for the solid and well-functioning institutions of governance. We receive compliments abroad for the excellent economic and financial institutions which continue to be an attraction for foreign direct investments. South Africa is complimented for its social assistance program, which very few developing countries are able to manage, providing support to more than 16 million people, especially orphans and vulnerable children. This support has rescued many families who would otherwise not be able to put food on the table. We are complimented for our housing support program for the poor, for free education for the children of the poor, and for many other pro-poor programs. Indeed, this country is trying its best to be the best home for all its citizens, especially the poor. We are happy as government that we have the support of the community as we deliver all these programs. Together, we will continue building better communities. There are those who have decided to make it their full-time job to deny these achievements of our country and to rubbish our country locally and abroad. We must not allow them to succeed in this campaign of theirs. South Africa is a great country. It is a beautiful country. And it has wonderful, remarkable, and hard-working people. We should all celebrate our collective achievements and work to correct whatever needs to be corrected as we move towards a more prosperous society. Let us work together to build our country and move South Africa forward. It is our country. We must build it ourselves as the people of this country, united in action. Compatriots, we will be going to local government elections on the 3rd August. Our message to you is local government is everybody's business. Let us work together to build our communities under the system of democracy. And elections emphasize that point of democracy. Democratic countries regularly go to elections so that people exercise their right to choose those they would want to govern them, or political parties that must govern them. It's a time for the people to participate during elections. On the 5th of December 2015, we marked the 15th anniversary of the democratic local government system in our country. Government has established the Interministerial Committee on Elections to ensure a smooth run-up in preparation for the coming local government elections. Our citizens' faith in our Constitution, democracy, has never been so strong. We have been deepening our understanding of democracy with time. What is important is that we should all humble ourselves. If you are elected at one point and people no longer want you, humble yourself, accept it, so that change will come if people believe we need change now. But you can't take shortcuts. We must exercise the democratic institutions so that we can have a peaceful democratic state wherein the will of the majority prevail. Over the 2 voter registration weekends hosted by the Independent Electoral Commission, over 6.6 million citizens visited voting stations, with 1.3 million of them being new registrations. Almost 80% of these were young people under the age of 30. We congratulate our youth for their interest in participating in how their country is governed. Local government is everybody's business. It's not the business of others and not others, because it is where the majority of us and all of us live. That's where we feel the government. That's why those who are elected, they must be very much clear that they are there for the people, not for themselves. We urge all South Africans to come out in their numbers on the 3rd of August, 2016, to exercise their voting right, to determine the direction of the country at the level of municipalities, the local government. While we celebrate our achievements in the local government sphere over the last 15 years, we also have a firm eye on the future. The United Nations estimates that over 70% of the South African population will live in urban areas by 2030, with this figure increasing to almost 80% by 2050. The Integrated Urban Development Framework, IUDF, approved by Cabinet yesterday, offers a new deal for the South Africa's towns and cities. The IUDF espouses the vision of creating livable, safe, resources-efficient cities and towns that are socially integrated, economically inclusive, and globally competitive, where residents actively participate in urban life. We cannot afford to have people spending hours each day transporting themselves to and from work. We cannot afford to have urban areas that are unsafe and hostile to our citizens. We cannot afford to live in urban space that are not economically inclusive. The IUDF has 4 overall strategic goals aimed at transforming apartheid's spatial legacy to an urban future which is inclusive, resilient, and livable. These are special integration to forge new special forms in settlement, transport, social and economic areas. Inclusion and access. That is to ensure people have access to social and economic services, opportunities, and choices. Growth, that is to harness urban dynamism for inclusive, sustainable economic growth and governance, that is to enhance the capacity of the state and its citizens to work together to achieve special social integration. Since cities are now the engines of economic growth, the IUDF is our blueprint for a better future for all South Africans. Compatriots, the winter initiation session is upon us. The Department of Traditional Affairs has mobilized all stakeholders, including the South African Police Services, the National Prosecuting Authority, Department of Health, traditional leaders, and communities to ensure that we carry out our policy of zero tolerance for initiation deaths. We congratulate the Limpopo province on the achievement of ensuring no death during the initiation session. Well done. We urge all provinces to intensify their efforts to achieve this. Fellow South Africans, let me reiterate that South Africa is a great success story. We have our challenges, however, the positive attributes of our country far outweigh those challenges. As a country, comparatively speaking, we are doing very well. We are trying to solve all problems that were not created by us, but by oppression, apartheid, and colonialism. People today speak as if we created the current problems. No, we are solving the current problems that were created by colonialism and apartheid. Let us point out the challenges so that we can be able to fix them. But in doing so, let us not lose sight of the achievements that we have all scored working together under difficult conditions. Let us not allow those who have decided to ignore the achievements of our beautiful country to make us think we are a failure as a nation, a country, and people. We have done very well in 22 years. If you look at the history of our countries in our continent, You will not find a country in 20 years that did what you have done. We have consistently remained focused in the main on the side of the poor. And our policies are indeed addressing the problems of the poor. Of course, there are challenges, like in any situation. Yes, we have done well, and will continue to do well until we reach our destination, a truly united, non-racial, non-sexist, and prosperous South Africa, which is accurately described in the National Development Plan. We have a plan, we know where we are going as a country. But nothing can be done on a single day. We cannot find somebody who grows on a single day. You can't give birth to a child in the morning and then in the afternoon he's an old man. It's not possible. A child is born, nurtured, grown, all stages, and all stages are important until they become adult. In no way you can say, because I need a man or a woman in this house, I'm going to give birth in the morning, by afternoon there will be a woman or a man. Not possible. That's against science. That's against the laws of God. South Africa is just 22 years. Imagine if it was a human being. You would still be trying to help to grow. But we have done very well in the 20 years, 2 decades. Bayesu, we wish you a happy Freedom Day today. Just recognize the fact that the government has taken a decision not to celebrate this important day only at the seat of government in Pretoria, wherein other citizens don't have an opportunity to come together to celebrate. We decided to take it out, and we chose Limpopo, Giyani, as the first place. There are very good reasons we did so. So you must welcome and cherish this. We will be taking it to other provinces in future, but you are the first to enjoy this. Congratulations, Limpopo. Congratulations, Giyani. Let us continue working together to move South Africa forward. Let us love our country as we love ourselves. Let us make it a beautiful country. It is a beautiful country. The power is in our hands, where we want to take South Africa to. Each time we celebrate, we must know this country is growing to be an adult. Thank you very much to the leaders who led us, Nelson Mandela and others. Thank you very much. And indeed, we want to say, long live South Africa, long live. Long live democracy, long live. Long live the people of South Africa, long live. Thank you very much. Re a leboga.
Let us give a round of applause to the President for giving this nation a direction. Let us also give another round of applause for the disciplined nature of the people of Polokwane and Giyani, for the people of Limpopo as a whole. Thank you very much. We are going to end our formal program, and we will then go to the program of the afternoon, the Arts and Culture program. DJ Soul Crusher and Kensani Nyango are going to be our program directors. Are you ready for Matema? Are you ready for Nati? Are you ready for Oliva Mtuguti? Are you ready for Elias Baloi and Mamba Queens? What about Dr. Thomas Chauke? Before we get to them, we have a multicultural group. This multicultural group is from the police service. They've been trained how to dance by the Minister of Police, Natin Tlego. He is a good choreographer. He taught them how to dance. And when they come, on stage. just an introduction. We'll have our district mayor giving the vote of thanks. Then after that, the podium will move. The president will be greeting the people before he leaves. Let's give the district mayor an opportunity for a vote of thanks.
Thank you, program directors. Halala Limpopo, halala! Eita Mpumalanga, eita! Halala Bapalabura, halala! Halala Zanini, halala! Halala Maruleng, halala! Litaba, are you there? Litaba, are you there? Giyani Liona! Eita Vembe, eita! Bafambisi Bantiro, our program directors, Minister Natim Teto, and MEC Ndalani, to our Honorable President, Deputy President, Wo Kosikulum Pepu, Wo Towere Mpapuri, to the ministers present here today, our Premier Ntatema Tabate and other premiers present here today.
Well, the district mayor giving her a vote of thanks, which marks the end of this part of this program, which was the official celebration rally of Freedom Day 2016. President Jacob Zuma, a little earlier, recounting the milestones that he believes people should be celebrating, talking about service delivery, talking about what has been done in the areas of water, of sanitation, talking about what has been done in the area of schooling, talking about the economy, but also touching on a whole range of contemporary issues that I'm sure people will be picking up on. It certainly will give, or has given, a lot of people a lot to say around that. But for analysis and the detail of some of those issues and more, do watch our bulletin starting now at 1 o'clock right through till the evening and tomorrow morning on Morning Live. From me, it's a goodbye as I hand over to my colleague Aldrin Sampier.
Well, we were earlier on the stage, we had a group dancing in Chibelane, and I was saying that the Chibelane has taken on a different face because these were ladies, white ladies as well as Indians, and the black counterparts dancing is Chibelane. But as you indicated earlier on, that of course there will be analysis to President Jacob Zuma's speech, especially that emphasis when he veered off his speech, spoke off the cuff about the importance of the role that political parties should be playing, that they should not be dividing the country. And the inferences drawn from that is that when you are defeated at the ballot box, do not divide the country, do not spread hatred. And I guess that is something that is thrown in the face of the economic freedom fighters with regards to the contention issue that has been raised in an interview earlier this week. But Micah, what do you take away from this speech?
Look, a lot has been said by the president of the country, but he spoke a lot about how people should protest in a very dignified manner, in a sense that when they are aggrieved, they don't have to ban schools, they don't have to close roads, they must not disturb learners from going to school. He said that if people are aggrieved, they must do it in a dignified manner like it's done in the European countries. What must happen going forward is that when people are aggrieved, they must take their grievances forward, but in a more dignified manner. You also spoke about Chibelane. I couldn't let us go without talking about Chibelane. If you are in Giyani, that is the trademark. If you are here, you will see Makwaya, you will see Klevu, you will see Chibelane. It comes in all sizes and shapes. Alvin.
Well, hopefully next time that I come back to Giyani, we and I will have some sort of, I don't know, dance moves and be on a stage and be able to dance with the ladies who do the Chibelane. From me, Aldrin St. Pierre, as well as Vuyo Mvoko and Mike, thank you so much. It is back to you guys in studio. We've come to the end of the official program of the commemoration of Freedom Day here from Giyani.
Student 9.
Viva ANC, viva! Viva! Viva ANC, viva! Xitiviso xa xihatla. President Jacob Gedleyihlekisa Zuma i ta famba a mi xeweta laniwa.
Yeah. Yes, I can hear you. Sure, I can hear you. Please open the comms with the van.
DJ, bani loko karhi ku xeweta nkulukumba a swi bohi ngopfu mino a wu pfumeleriwi protocol.
Yes, indeed, Natasha. I mean, lots and lots of people, they've actually filled up the stadium. It was quite a good attendance. I mean, people braving the rain. It started earlier raining, but they were not perturbed. And as soon as it subsided, they came back again to take their seats in the stadium. So the organizers will definitely be happy with both the showing, but also the enthusiasm of the people who came here. And as you said, quite a detailed speech touching and on a whole range of issues, the nub of which I would think is when he, I mean, certainly from where he sits, the problems that remain, the challenges that continue to face the nation have a particular origin, and he has a view as to how his government is dealing with them. Just take a listen to this little clip.
Compatriots, while services are extended to some communities, many others are still waiting because the backlog resulting from apartheid exclusion is extensive. We are sure you that we shall not rest as the democratic government until all households in our country live in dignity and obtain basic services. We will continue to work with all communities towards this end, together building better communities and improving the functioning of municipalities so that they can better provide these services to the people.
Well, I think that's about summed up the president's take on the challenges that continue to face South Africans and what he and his government are promising to do to try and deal with those challenges. He did, of course, speak also to some of the issues that everyone that are on the lips of the people, especially this week on the back of the EFF Commander-in-Chief's comments, but also some of the issues that people like religious communities and some sections of the ANC have been talking about, both the performance of the government, but also of the government as things are at the moment. Basically saying people must obey the law, obey the Constitution, and people must go to the ballot. The ballot is in the end what will determine what it is that should happen to South Africa. No shortcuts. That was a particular word or phrase that he used, that people must go and mobilize, canvass, and make sure that people vote for them, but do not take shortcuts. But also issuing a warning against people he said were saying things or agitating for anarchy, as he put it, to try and advance their political careers. Do people agree, disagree with him? I'm sure that is going to be a talking point, and many people will dissect it and take what they want to take out of it. So in a nutshell, that's what he said, and that's how things went here in Giyani, in Limpopo. Natasha. See. Kuva kahle. Avant, but they spoke. Let me just now checking if I could hear it. Sibamba ngazo sibini eGiyani nalapho umongameli Zuma egqiba kuphalaza inkulumo yakhe nalapho athethe ngezinto ezidla umzi. Beninzi ke abantu bebeze kuzimasa lo mcimbi beze nalapho siqale kungathi kuzawunetha kodwa kuthe ixesha liyalihamba ngokuya kuhamba yaphela nalomvula bazinza yonke into yahamba ngesidima nangesithozela. Nanjengoba bekulindelekile umongameli uZuma uye wanika intetho nalapho enike umkhombandlela kwisizwe ngokubanzi esithi ininzi into yenziweyo kwesi sithuba sama-22 seminyaka sakhululekayo esitsho ke kananjalo kokuba zininzi izinto ekusafuneka zenziwe. Esithi kodwa ke abantu abaninzi mabakhumbule kokuba ingxaki esihlangabezene nazo zisisizwe azingxaki ziqale ngale minyaka iyi-22 idlulileyo. Masimamele eyithetha ngokwakhe le nto.
Compatriots, while services are extended to some communities, many others are still waiting because the backlog resulting from apartheid exclusion is extensive. We assure you that we shall not rest as the democratic government until all households in our country live in